Good evening, everybody. It's another beautiful Saturday night. We're broadcasting live from, I was going to say the campus. I'm not on the campus, although the campus is right across the street back here. But
People, he's doing himself
it's
such a great disservice. He should take this week off. Let me tell you something. What?
Howard Homecoming is behind me. They've been making
Listen,
noise for the last two nights, and I want everybody to go home so I I can go to sleep. But
I would have rented an expedition. I'll be I'll be I'll be playing the Ready to Die album on Max.
No,
I'll
I
be
walked.
handing out cups of mambo sauce to everybody. Here you go.
Yeah, I walked through there, and you're not supposed to be carrying open alcohol like that. And somebody got the Douce, somebody got the Hennessy, somebody got the lemonade or whatever, and
Yeah,
somebody passing cups, and they
yeah.
all mixing drinks
Making
right in the middle
drinks.
of the
Yeah.
street. I was like, y'all not, this got to be against the law. Like, you have to be breaking some kind of ordinance.
No, that's the HBCU tradition right there. Like one of my favorite homecoming stories is doing that with I believe they call it. I mean, I'm saved now.
Yeah, right.
But
Of
they
course.
they called it at the time Easy Jesus, I believe, E and J. That's you bought E and J when you ain't had enough money to buy his.
They call it
And
Easy Jesus.
yeah, yeah. And what we did was we bought Coca-Cola
Uh-huh.
and then we would drink. We were supposed to drink about this much of the Coca-Cola and then
Yeah.
put the E and J in there.
Okay.
Stupid George drank
Mhm.
about that much.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't have a Saturday night that night.
Now just help me out because I don't know what is E and J.
Oh, it's like Hennessy. It's the cheaper version of Hennessy.
So it's a cognac.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah, and that was my first time drinking it.
shout out to Hampton.
Yeah, listen,
Shout out-
let me tell you something. Happy 25th anniversary to the Ogre class of 97, 05,
Yeah.
and all of that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Shout out to you all, and I hope you all are having a grand homecoming, which you'll probably win your football game. I'm confident of that.
Come on, man.
Um,
I know
no.
that. I just hope
Yeah.
y'all win y'all football game during y'all homecoming. Y'all playing DeVry this week?
Probably lose. Um, that's clearly that's not our thing.
No.
Yeah, we excel in other ways, but
Yeah, I was
yeah,
trying to not be petty. So
Mhm.
I knew he was gonna wear his paraphernalia to that.
Yeah,
I just came
yeah.
just trying to keep the peace.
I get it. No. Well, it's homecoming and stuff like that. So I figure why not?
Hey, you should have called out this week, dog.
I was almost tempted to go to Yard Fest last night because I overheard. Now, this is what I heard that Chloe was over there last night. So I was like, perhaps,
Man,
perhaps,
water
perhaps,
was
maybe.
trouble.
But it was too cold. I'm like, here's the thing. It's too cold out there. Like I'm looking at some of these kids, and I'm like, I see back problems and arthritis in your future because y'all not dressed. Like you have to make a decision. Either you're gonna be cute or you're
Oh,
gonna be like warm and healthy.
not at
And
that age, man. Come on,
yeah,
man.
no, clearly they made they knew what their assignment was, and so
Listen,
okay,
Atticus, now be
y'all
my
go.
voice.
Clearly, they had other assignments to
Absolutely.
get done, so they weren't concerned about their health. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take myself in the house, and that was about it for that.
Oh,
But anyway, here's what we usually do. Hello, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us another Saturday for the Love Again podcast. Um, I get to do something very special with this podcast. I get to talk to new people. And thank you all for all your feedback for last week's episode and all the episodes. Thank you all for checking it out and telling me you liked it and it was dope. You can always go back and listen to them. But so I get to talk with dope people, and then I get to talk with my friends, which is great because sometimes friends, we're in each other's lives, but we're moving, and we're always talking about what's happening, what's getting ready to happen. We never get a chance to kind of pause for a minute and really catch up and really connect. And so perhaps I am selfishly using this as an avenue just to check in with my friends and just to slow down a minute and chop it up and learn some new things. And so this is the first time on the podcast. We've known each other now. It's got to be a solid 10, probably
Yeah.
12, but I know a solid 10. And we met through mutual friends. We are on the same podcast, The Remix, which brought us together. Gerard Bonner brought us together. And we've been in each other's lives the last 10 years and shared a myriad of experiences. And I think we've grown close. I think we've become friends. And it's strange because we've never seen each other face to face.
Right.
You're the only one that nobody's ever said, nobody's seen face to face.
It's just you and James.
Okay, just me and James. Because you went to the wedding. I wasn't invited to the wedding.
I was invited.
That's what that was. So no,
Yeah,
I wasn't invited.
I was there. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah, and like a whole bunch of people were there. I didn't get the invite. So we've never been in the same space, and we need to fix that. We need to chop it up, do that soon. But we've worked together. He allowed me first. He invited me to his podcast. Then he never invited me back, and then 2 years later, he invited me back, and then so now I guess I'm on the team. Yeah, per se, I guess now. So that's it. Hey, everybody checking in. They're saying Thick Idras.
Hello, everybody. Shout out to my people, then It's time but we keep moving.
So hello, everybody.
Feeling me still, think I'm gone.
So we become friends, and we've been through a lot together.
Yeah.
We went through a black president together. We went through Donald Trump together. We went through George Floyd. We went through Kobe. We went through. It was just a lot of moments.
Yeah.
That we've shared, processed, and grown close over. So this is the first time he's here on the podcast. Hopefully, it won't be his last time. Mm-hmm. It's the one and only V. George Smith. How are you, sir?
Hello, beautiful people. What's going on?
That's the name of his podcast. Hello, beautiful people.
Name of everything.
I have a T-shirt.
Yes, so. The first people that bought T-shirts. Absolutely. Nobody buying T-shirts no more. But it's okay. I'm not.
I need a hoodie. That's what I need.
Oh yeah, you get that.
Yeah, I need a hoodie. It's a winter time. I need this my excuse to buy new hoodies and things like that.
I'm not even tripping. People rather wear T-shirts that say millions and trillions up there than Jesus loves them. That's what they rather say.
Millions, billions, and trillions. Absolutely.
That's what they rather. That's what they rather their shirt say that Jesus loves them. They rather not share this message.
Yeah.
Then they rather wear a shirt that says millions, billions, and trillions.
Yeah. You're right.
I'm not upset.
No, don't be. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm happy to be here. I'm a fan of this podcast. I definitely, and notifications are on. Mm-hmm. Notifications are on. I watch you on the big screen and watch on the TV. Mm-hmm. I would say you and Corey Reed are two of my favorite interviewers, along with Gerard, of course. Mm-hmm. It's like you guys. So I've been in prep mode all week, like it's a game. I'm like, so if he goes here, I've been accessing like old memories and stuff.
Your cerebral cortex going back, like just. It's not that. No, it's not that deep.
No,
We just chopping
I
it
was
up.
thinking about it. I had to think about it. I was like, did anybody touch me the wrong way in church? No, no.
I am not gonna go to hell over this interview. Like I'm not. You are not. I'm not gonna do it.
I'm telling you,
You're
if
not.
we don't meet here
You, you're not gonna.
on the
No,
other side, my God,
nope. I'm not gonna do it.
I'll run.
So, so yeah, we just go, we just go chop it up. Like I'm not like I'm not gonna let you draw. I have to be the more mature person, which you know how this gonna go.
He had the nerve to ask me before the show, y'all, is there anything you don't want to talk about? I was like, nigga, really? Me? Oh,
I have to be fair. I have to ask. You know, so
shoot.
I want to start here a little differently than I start with most guests. You are a first generation of your family migrant to the states, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am so interested because of you. I have more Jamaicans in my life now,
Absolutely.
and it makes life more colorful and more fun. I definitely enjoy all my new Jamaican friends. But I'm interested. How old were you when you came to the states?
Oh, I was born here.
You were born here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was
Okay.
born here. Yeah, they
In
moved.
in Connecticut.
Yeah,
I am so interested how you bypassed all the other states to come from Jamaica to find yourself in all places in America, a
and
black Jamaican, your
right.
family in Connecticut. Because they probably didn't know there was only like two other black people in Connecticut when they came there. Right?
Oh
Did
man,
they know that?
I would have to attribute that to my grandfather, the Bishop S.A. Monroe.
Hmm.
He was going around preaching. He would leave Jamaica, come up here, and be preaching and doing Bible studies in different places and stuff like that. And then there's this bishop here um, from the Church of God in Christ. His name is Bishop Bordeaux. And Bishop Bordeaux met my grandfather and convinced him to move up here. So that's how we ended up in New Haven, Connecticut, and not in New York or Florida or whatever. So my grandfather came first, and then everybody just followed after.
And do you know what year he came?
That's a great question. I do not know. It had to be the 60s, 50s, something like that.
Yeah, and of course, as I got older and I began to travel, my friend circle got bigger. I
Hmm.
began to see like Jamaicans. They come to the states and they kind of have different hubs, I guess. Like
Yeah,
I didn't know that there were so many Jamaicans in New York, right?
yeah, that's the biggest hub right there.
Yeah, like I was like, I don't like how did that happen? And then I know like in Florida,
Yeah,
large population of Jamaicans there. And that's East Coast. I mean, the Florida Southeast kind of thing. But Connecticut,
yeah.
like I that is
Well, you got to consider we are. Well, I'm 90 minutes from New York City, so
okay.
we're really close. Like I would say that the capital city, Hartford, which is an hour north from me,
Uh-huh.
has a probably a bigger Jamaican sector than we do here. So like they go all over the place. They're in Toronto, they're in England. I believe that a lot of it is associated with them getting like a work study here or a job there or
Uh-huh.
schooling here. So there's a lot of smart Jamaican people.
Absolutely.
So what happens is like they achieve pass or they go to school through the time in Jamaica and they
Hmm.
want to achieve more and then they end up getting scholarships and ending up being here and they end up just staying
Right.
where they are and then we're in the home of Yale University. So that attributes to a lot of it. So
Yeah.
people don't.
So is was your grandfather that came here? Was this your paternal or your maternal grandfather?
My mother's adopted father.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are both of your parents Jamaican?
Yes.
Did they meet here in the States?
No, they met in Jamaica.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And he just brought her, your dad brought your mom
They
over.
weren't. They. I don't know if they were together. See, let me tell you something about my parents.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this timeline together because the Saints, you know.
Because I don't. They were. They just celebrated 50 years this year of marriage.
hmm
It's either 50 or 49.
hmm
I'm
I
not.
would like to think that if it was a 50th anniversary, you would really know that off the top of your head because y'all would have had to celebrate that in a
It
very
was.
big way.
It was 50.
Okay.
Anyway, I apologize for that. But I don't. Their Love Again podcast. Their love story never really got read out to us like that
Hmm.
because I guess my mom told me that my dad wrote her a letter to propose. I believe he wrote her a letter and proposing to her.
He
My
wrote
mom,
it. He
yeah,
wrote a proposal down on
I
paper.
believe. Don't listen. Don't quote me on this
Uh-huh.
because
No,
these
that's
are not,
pretty awesome.
these are not things that he either proposed or he let his intentions be known
hmm
via letter.
hmm
And when I tell you my mother's nickname is G,
hmm
and the G stands for good or goody. Pretty much, she didn't sin.
Okay. You ain't
She
got to tell
had,
all mamas. You ain't got to tell all mothers' business.
she hadn't had no sex. She was chaste. You hear me? Like I almost couldn't. I almost couldn't go to my prom. She wasn't
Mhm.
gonna let me go to my prom because she was like, "Listen, when I was your age, I didn't date. I didn't go out. No, if you want to go to your prom, ask your father. But I'm not letting you go." I was 17.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, it
Mhm.
was real like that. So she's like, and like she's always been that way. So it's never really like I would say my love lessons came more from Bishop Monroe. Like I've never heard him call his wife by her name. That's where I get it from. He always called her baby.
Mhm.
Like always. Like
Mhm.
he never calls her by her name. He always like baby this,
Mhm.
baby that. Now, my grandmother,
Mhm.
she, she calls him Pastor Monroe, which is hilarious.
It is hilarious.
He's
I
like,
like
man,
it.
man. She's like, Pastor Monroe, you ready for dinner?
Clearly, it works.
Yeah, yeah, it works for them. So
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't get hardcore details like love
Mhm.
wise from them. You know,
So, where did you get your first definitions or ideas about love from?
I think those came from my. I have a large set of uncles, cousins. I've shared this to you before that
Mhm.
my maternal grandfather,
Mhm.
and this is an estimate, has 43 children.
Yeah.
Had a
Yeah.
child in Jamaica they call parishes. Had a child in every parish. Parishes that are called states. States are called parishes in Jamaica. Had a child in
Mhm.
every parish of Jamaica. Um, so I
God
believe.
bless him.
Listen,
God bless him.
he
No,
ain't,
no, that's
he ain't had no cable. And there was no streaming services. YouTube
ain't
TV
nothing else to do.
available. Like,
Ain't,
listen, I got
ain't nothing else to do.
time
So
on my hands. So let me go ahead and replenish this earth real quick. That's what I'm gonna do.
yeah, yeah, he did his part.
So I mean, It was
and
like
from his labor. God bless his spirit.
so it was a time where I was like really flying blind and getting, the love lessons from sitcoms and songs and stuff like that. But then there
Oh,
was
we're going to talk about sitcoms
oh,
in a while.
cool, cool, cool.
Mhm.
So it was a time where I have I would say the closest uncles to me because they lived like right around the corner when I was a kid, like my Uncle Ray, Uncle Lance, and my Uncle Earl. They were like big brothers because they were close in age, but they were uncles. So
Mhm.
like I would like watch them, and I don't want to listen. My two out of three of them are clergy now, so I ain't gonna say too much.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I guess I could talk about Earl then.
Right.
Man, that Earl used to be. Let me tell you,
Mhm. Mhm.
Earl in the street. Like, you hear me?
Mhm. Mhm.
So I mean, I saw them, and then that was kind of like my example or whatever. Because like my parents were like church, 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 church. Man, like we were just there all the time, and when we got there, I would get to clown around with my uncles and my cousins or whatever. But like it was one of those things where my parents was just church, church, church. They didn't have no time. I don't think they really had time for that kind of stuff. So I had to learn a lot of this via independent study.
Do you remember your first love?
Nikki, first grade, skinny Nikki. She had a jerry curl.
Mhm.
She had glasses, and then I messed up because I met Shonda, was her
Mhm.
best friend, and then I
Mhm.
fell in love with Shonda.
Mhm.
So it was just I didn't know what to do. I
Mhm.
had two hearts. PJ PJ knew, man. I had two hearts, man. I had two hearts in
You
the
know
first
what we were
grade.
talking about, didn't it?
Hey, you hear me? You couldn't tell me nothing. Like this girl's my
Right.
everything. I mean,
Right.
I would say like seriously speaking, dating for me was more of I can't believe this is happening type stuff.
Mhm.
Like because I wasn't until I started driving, I was really like restricting on what I could do. So pretty much there was a lot of time with me on the phone speaking to people, not being able to go out because Pastor Smith says we can't go to the movies. You know, I don't bowling. Like what? Like a
Mhm.
lot of stuff happened that way. So it was just like I didn't think I got a real, real, real first love until I got to college.
So, from your conversation, you told me your grandfather was a minister, came over to the States.
Hmm.
So you were raised in church.
Yes.
Um, you were born in the States and then raised in church. And I think you and I have kind of the same background. It was really, really strict holiness
Yep.
kind of upbringing. Um, but that's really restrictive, especially like when it comes to dating. Like you
Yep.
said, like your mother didn't want you to go to prom. So I'm interested in like what you get 15, 16, girls, they start looking different,
Boy.
or you start looking at them differently, right? Um, but the complicated thing is most of the girls we met were either in school or in church. And we spent most of our time, I
Hmm.
think, in church, or maybe it was equal. So I'm interested like in if you didn't really see, a real descriptive idea about love in your home when you get with your first girlfriend,
Mm.
I'm interested in how do you manifest like affection and conversation and things like that. Are you're pulling from Luther Vandross, what Luther said, what the Bard said, what you saw on the Cosby Show, and you're piecing that all together and
Yeah,
trying to make it work?
yeah. I mean, you pull from that, and you just, for lack of a better word, you just really just go for what you might know, or even what you don't know.
Hmm.
Or what I did a lot, I would in the in the effort to look like I was like, women first, I would let them take the lead. Where do you want to go?
It's up to you, huh?
What do you want to listen to? It's all for you. Listen, hey, like I'm
I'd have
just
messed up in love before.
listen.
That's what Breezy said.
Listen. Anthony Hamilton said, "I'm a mess right now."
You're right.
And he can't listen. You got it. Like
Yeah.
I was very and like when I got to that age, when I got the freedom to start moving up and down, I don't want to call it. I was just exploring every avenue, so it wasn't really like I wasn't committed to anything. I wasn't committed. Like, even, all right, let's put it like this: they would think I was committed, but I wasn't.
Hmm.
So I like kind of started a pattern of just making everybody individually feel like they were this,
Hmm.
and I was really good at it. And I would just blame the restrictions that I had. Well, how come I can't see you? Mom's tripping. We got like, oh, I don't know if I told you this part. We lived on the second floor, and the church was on the first floor.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So you can't come over. We got Bible study tonight.
Yeah. No,
Like, I mean,
ain't my fault.
it, it was a lot. Choir rehearsals going on. I can't go. My mom had to go preach in Boston. I can't take the car.
Yeah, that
Like
is.
it was a lot. I mean, and then I think what happened was my mother would help with this because there would be times where one would call, she would be on the phone, call waiting. We just got call waiting because we fancy
Right.
Jamaica.
Yeah. Fancy
And
now. We're moving on up.
she picks up and she's like, "I'm on the phone, calling back," and then she keeps
That
talking.
is.
20 minutes later, somebody else calls and she yells from the kitchen, "George,
Mhm.
that's not the same one that just called me." Oh, just y'all whore,
Hey, mom, what? What are you?
y'all whore. I'm not a whore, ma. I just got friends. Y'all whore. No, you turned into a whore.
Let's throw this wrinkle in here because this is something we haven't talked about yet. You are a musician
Yes.
who comes from a family of musicians who apparently wrote great music
Let
up
me tell you
until you
something,
learn
man.
that.
I don't know how we didn't get an album into this Bonafide Radio top albums of all time thing, yo. I'm upset. I ain't
Look,
saying nobody yet.
you, Joshua Rogers, Ernest
Ernest,
Pugh, a lot of them gonna be a lot of them
I
gonna be
still want
upset.
white turtleneck and honor Ernest tonight. Damn, my fault.
Yeah, a lot of people gonna be upset about that. But
It'll be fine. He's in ministry now.
I'm interested though. When did you realize that you had a gift as a keyboard? You play keyboard. You play keys.
Keys, drums, and bass.
You play bass.
Yeah, I,
Did
I
not know that.
I dabbled with bass. I dabbled.
Mhm.
I tried my hardest um when I was MDing my church, my current church's band now. I tried my hardest to push people to play keys, and they even had my boy come and I was like, I want to play the bass. I want to play the bass. And it ain't as easy as it looks. It's fun,
No,
but
no.
it's fun. I had a ball, but I eventually had to just go back to playing keys.
And music theory for the bass and the lead guitar are two different things. Like
I
they.
actually guitar was my first instrument.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm,
threw that junk out. I was like, obviously God wanted somebody in my family to play guitar,
mm-hmm.
and they gave it to me first, and then I was just like, this is not me.
You told God no.
No, I told God no, no. I was like, no. You know what? I think my brother, he's coming down the line in about 6 years.
Yeah,
He's gonna do pretty well with it if we let him get a hold of it.
yeah. Give it
Now,
to him.
like he's my brother is making a living off of that daggone guitar now. So
And he plays lead.
yeah, he
Okay.
plays, he plays anything you want. That's why his name, his IG, his social media handle is the Guitarganist. Because somebody gave him that handle because they told him that he plays the guitar like a daggone.
Like an Oreo. Good.
I used to, he have a nickname. We call him the jukebox because whenever the song started, but before we got to the praise and worship rehearsal
Mm-hmm,
area, when
mm-hmm,
we were in the play by ear era,
mm-hmm,
devotional service, whenever the song started, if he was over here,
mm-hmm.
when the song started, and since the King started, God is a good God, we would look D flat. Okay, all right, here we go. But I my journey started on Oregon actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they had I forgot the guy's name, but he didn't drive. He walked everywhere, so he used to walk to the house to give me my lessons. And he used to stink because he walked everywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
lessons weren't fun for me. But
Mm-hmm.
my another uncle at the time found out that I was getting lessons. Like I was getting lessons, but I wasn't playing in service. And
Mm-hmm.
my uncle just came up to me one Sunday after Sunday school. I heard you're taking organ lessons. I was like, yeah. He's like, good, go play. I said, go play what? I think I was 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
No, probably like closer to 12. He was like, go play. I played a whole service in C, Patrick.
You work what you do what you could do.
So it was like I didn't learn. I will say that, he had his best intentions at heart. And
Mm-hmm.
he was like teaching me hymns. And initially I was able to read notes, but he didn't teach me correctly. There was a big part of it. There was a big chunk of it that was missing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what my brother picked up with, which I was very glad about, like my brother understood that the repetition made everything better. Me, I would go to practice on Saturday, play a couple hymns for him, play on Sunday, and then Monday through Friday, I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of things that I had to find out, like in life, like I didn't really learn a lot of stuff. Um, I don't like because when I went away to school, I didn't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I only went to when I was in Hampton. I only went to Easter services. I had one suit, it was clean,
Mm-hmm.
brown shoes, and we only went to Easter service because the girls gonna be out. That's the only reason I went. So when I came back, and they just expected me to play, and I'm like in a different space. But my brother is better. Like other
Mm-hmm.
people around me are better. So now when I'm finding the key, now when Mother King is singing, God's a good God, I find the key and I'm playing, and then my brother starts saying, all right, do this, do that, do this, do that. And then people are telling me, hey, there's a number system that we use, so it don't even really matter. And I was like, well, even as bad as I was able to play all my keys.
Mm-hmm.
So once I got that number system, I was like 10 times better because I could
Do
play
you
all.
enjoy? Do you enjoy the instrument?
I did. Not as much now.
Okay.
Not as much now. I really like I because I love music. Like
Hmm.
I have a deep, deep love for music, and
Hmm.
I don't think, and I don't want to give the excuse of of how I was taught, but it was just like the hunger to play it
Hmm.
just wasn't there for me anymore. After I got to a certain period where um I was trying to like I saw the I saw the kids in my church, like my cousins, they started getting good. They started getting good. So I'm like, man, these dudes is up here. They're calling out numbers. They're telling me this. They're like my cousin that's the MD now. He started off on the drums. You can always tell the kid that's hungrier to play something because as soon as church is over, he's off the drums. He's on the keyboard. Then he's on the keyboard. Then he's on the bass. Then he's on the guitar. Like this dude, he went from playing the drums to he could play anything now. He could
Hmm.
play anything. So I saw him and I'm like, all right, I think it was on youth Sundays, like the kids would take over and play everything. And I would just sit in the back and I watch it. So as we were going, I'm like, no, I'll take next Sunday. Like I just started feeling like I should pass up. I didn't want to be because this happened to me. I didn't want to be the old head holding up progress in the band.
Hmm.
So I mean, because I definitely had to deal with that when I transitions from my father's church to my mom's church. But
Hmm.
once they started getting so good, I just got in this position where like my love for music, of being a fan for music, I think that replaced my love for actually playing. Like I just love enjoying music in any form or facet. And yeah, I miss playing. I miss playing a bit, but
Hmm.
I just love like the fact I would rather be a fan of music and enjoy it than play now. Think I'm good with playing.
So you mentioned, and we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about this. You chose to go to Hampton University,
Yes, sir.
which is a fine choice,
Absolutely. Best choice
of an
I ever made.
institution. I'm sorry.
One of the best choices I ever made.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Why did you choose?
All right.
No, no. I mean, had you visited there before?
I
Did
It's a funny story. I applied to 4 schools.
Okay.
I applied to Morgan State.
Hmm.
I applied to Temple.
Hmm.
Applied to Howard, and I applied to Hampton University.
Right.
Um, I got in all 4 schools.
See, now the truth starts coming out. See, this is what. See now. See.
I got accepted to all 4.
Uh huh. Yep.
So it was a proud moment in the Smith household. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? I got into all these schools, and
Hmm.
this was my first decision.
Yeah.
This was me. They couldn't tell me where they wanted me to be,
Hmm.
and I didn't apply to anything
Hmm.
that was less than 3 hours from my house.
Right. Yes. Okay.
So um, it's homecoming weekend. Guess who visited Hampton on homecoming weekend?
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while I was on school tours at Temple, seeing classrooms and teachers, I
Hmm.
never went to Morgan. Morgan was my safety school.
Hmm.
Um, I did go to Howard, and this is not throwing shots, but
Hmm.
when we got to Howard, and like mind you, this is like 92, 93, we got to Howard, and I'm looking, and don't get me wrong, I'm from Connecticut.
Yeah.
This is kind of ghetto. So, but when I get to DC, when I get now, just imagine Washington DC in 1992, bro.
Okay.
I
Okay.
get there and I'm like, there's no way in hell
Hmm.
I'm leaving the ghetto to go to school in the ghetto. There's no way.
Hmm.
I'm just not doing it.
Hmm.
Don't shout to anybody to go to Howard. I'm sorry, but when I got to Hampton and it was just trees and grass and there was a big old lake by the. I was just like, this is pretty cool. And then it was homecoming, dog.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was a Friday school away. So I was just like, yeah, this is it for me.
Yeah.
I don't gotta. I'm out.
Okay. No, I get it. It makes sense now. So you had to put all of the pieces matter, right? So
Listen,
you could have been a bison,
I could
and
have been.
so now I understand what all it is. This thing is right.
To be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
Howard was third on
Mm-hmm.
my list. I was strongly considering Temple, but my close cousin that I grew up with, like more like a big brother to me, he was at UPenn, and he was a year ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew if I went to Philly and went to the same city as my cousin Junior,
Yeah.
I would be back home.
Or you'd still be there today trying to finish your.
I just knew it because love my cousin Junior, but and he was on the football team too for UPenn. He was at UPenn on a football scholarship.
I would have backslid and
Listen,
still been in.
it could have went a whole nother way. I probably think I would have been Kanye if I'd have went. It would have been me. It would have been me. So
Right.
it was when my graduating class, they sent me to a Catholic high school. So it was only 5 of us that were black in the senior class, and 3 out of the 5 black guys all went to Hampton. So I was like, all right, that seems pretty safe to me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we visited during homecoming. It was so like again, it was my decision. So one of the funniest moments for me was overhearing my father speaking to my grandfather. The kid went during the homecoming. Of course, he want to see all them girls down.
Damn, that's it. That's the that's the.
They couldn't stop me. They couldn't stop me. It was my
You
decision.
made up your mind for you. You didn't have a choice. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Never in my life did I see the works of his hands all assembled together. He's a kind.
Oh no, yeah, that it makes sense. It totally
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
Um, I'm interested, especially now that I am. I didn't realize that I was at a HBCU until like I was
There.
3 or 4 weeks here,
Yeah.
and it was like, oh, well, this is a HBCU. Oh,
Oh yeah.
okay, and then that comes with some stuff,
A lot of
you
stuff.
know. I'm interested in what your HBCU experience was like.
My experience was I didn't realize I was in school. I didn't realize what I was there for. I would say to my sophomore year
Mm-hmm.
because I went. Am I echoing? Because I can use my headphones if I'm echoing.
I don't hear echo.
Okay, because I thought I heard. I think I'm hearing an echo. Let me just in case.
Okay.
Just in case. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Still hearing an echo. I went to school for accounting because I did so well in accounting in high school, like straight A.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people wanted me to do finance, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna have to be in the books for that. I'm trying to party. I ain't not doing that. And I was like, I could just graduate 4 years, go be an accountant, make mad money. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't pass the second, was it accounting 101, and then I couldn't pass accounting 102.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't pass finance 301. Like I I was in there my sophomore year, like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait a
Mm-hmm.
minute. Y'all presented everything that I learned in high school in the first week.
Hmm.
Like that was everything.
Right.
All of this new stuff, I don't like. I had to go meet with my dean, and like we had to like get a plan together that could still get me out of school in a decent time
Mm-hmm.
without after being there, because it took me 5 to get out, and I
Mm-hmm.
ended up switching to marketing.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the best plan to get me out there on a good time or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The original plan was to get out in 4.5, but I took my second to last semester. I took 21 course credits, 7 classes, trying to get out, and got to see its passing,
Hey,
and
you know,
got a C minus in marketing research.
in your major.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I begged and begged. I lied and lied. I'm like, listen, I got a job waiting for me at home. I gotta go. They was like, nah, you're not graduating.
You get.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, you wasn't going to class. Like clearly, like like.
when it got initially, it was just, man, class was just something I did in between playing pool at the Union and watching Jerry Springer, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was so much fun, Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't even put words to the utopia that Hampton University was for a kid that mind you, I just left a Catholic all boys school
Mm-hmm.
where out of the 125 graduating dudes, 5 of us were black.
Mm-hmm.
So like I went straight from Panera Bread to the soul food spot. Bro. You hear me, dog? Like
Yeah,
it was
it
so
was a
like I
lot.
was like school was the last thing on my mind. And the thing that made it for me, because like school was always easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
School was always easy for me. Like I was supposed to be my mother loves letting me know that I was supposed to be skipped ahead, but I played
Mm-hmm.
around too much. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
I know that's hard for you to understand me joking around too much, but I used to finish my work first and then mess with everybody else and giving them
Mm-hmm.
trouble, so they couldn't finish their work.
Mm-hmm.
So, like they let them know I got. You ever heard of a kid getting a beating for doing his work first? Yeah, that was me,
Mm-hmm.
because they let them know that I did my work too fast, and then I would disrupt the rest of the class. So school was always very easy for me. So when I
Mm-hmm.
got to school and when I got to Hampton and it became a challenge, it was like, do I deal with the challenge of the school or do I just have the time of my life?
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of leaned toward to have the time of my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't do that great grade wise. I just
Mm-hmm.
made it through. Like so I did myself a disservice, but I was young. And that was
Mm-hmm.
like my first time like out the crib and stuff like that.
I'm interested in because our upbringing could be restrictive, and
Yeah,
I understand it very differently now that my parents were trying to keep us. Your parents are trying to keep us safe,
right.
right? And the safest way is to keep us in church where they could keep their eye on us.
Hmm.
But then there's like this whole other world that once we find out people do stuff and do this, and there's other stuff to do beyond church,
Hmm.
then we kind of lose it for a minute,
Yeah.
right? Like it's very disorienting. And then you get older, and then it's like, I don't know about you, in some ways, there's a little resentment um, that it was so restrictive,
Hmm.
right? Um, that if I was able to kind of get out a little bit more, then when I became an adult, probably my decision making would be a little different. If I was exposed
Absolutely.
to other things and other spaces, I would have had something to compare and be like, I want to choose this over that because. instead of
Mhm.
choosing the first thing
Mhm.
because we didn't know, you know, anything else is out there. I'm wondering
Right.
how you process that for yourself. Do you feel the same way or do you feel different?
I feel exactly the same way that you do, and
Mm,
because of that, my parenting has been different with my children now. My daughter's 21, my son is 17.
mhm.
So I keep on remembering how I couldn't go here and I couldn't go there. And like even now they still kind of feel I'm a bit restrictive, but it's like that feeling of knowing that they're there and they're in the
Mhm.
house and they're safe, there's a lot of comfort with that. But when they're gone and like I'm on Find My iPhone, seeing their location, like
Right,
where they're at, and like they're at the spot they might not have told you they were going or something like
right.
that. I get why um my parents did what they did. Um
I do
I,
too.
I
I
think
get it.
that's the reason why I don't what's the best way to put it? I think that's the reason why I don't trip as hard on the upbringing.
Mhm.
Like it's never been like part of me believes that they didn't know no better.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Like
no.
I
I mean,
just
they were
feel
new
like
here too, right?
right.
So yeah, yeah,
So
I get that.
a lot of me believes like they didn't know no better and they were doing their best. So it would be a different situation if I look back and I'm like, you had this, and this, and you didn't give me that. Like, no, they gave me everything they could while
Mhm.
doing what they had to do. Like my my parents were like my mother became a pastor in 96, ninety
Mhm.
seven. My father was a pastor from 80s. So but even before my mother became one and had started not started but continuing on my grandfather's work, like my mother was working directly as first lady missionary with my dad's church. So it's like we didn't lack nothing, you know. We was never hungry. I
Yeah.
mean, it was just like, and even if they weren't available, like my family was huge. Somebody was always around, so it
Right.
wasn't like a lacking thing. So,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. So I
Right.
don't really, yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand it too. And I'm not as resentful as I used to be. If I'm
Mhm.
resentful at all, I might not be at all. But I remember my dad, you know, especially when you're a young man and you get like 15, 16, 17,
Mhm.
18, you know, you want to like, why you, all sweat me about this? Like I want to
Mhm.
just let me, and he was like, I remember he said to me a couple of times, "You don't understand it, but you'll understand it when you have kids."
Yeah. Yeah.
And look, I don't have kids, but I do understand more now what that's like to try to protect your kids, and then at some point you can't protect them, right?
Right.
They're gonna go out in the world, and you just want them to be as safe as possible. But
Mhm.
their job was to keep us as safe as possible as long as possible.
Right.
It just with that though, it was some things we didn't experience, we didn't know about,
Mhm.
and our 20s, our late teens, 20s became the era where we grew up. Like really, world became bigger, and we found our place in it.
Yeah.
Um, you go to Hampton. Did you have a girl in Hampton? Did you?
Yes, I
Did you?
did. Yes, I
Okay.
did.
All right.
That was
Um,
the first real relationship.
yeah. And clearly it didn't work out.
No.
I'm always interested in how we handle our first breakups.
Oh,
Um,
dogs.
because when you don't know how to break up, it's another thing they don't tell us. What do you do when the relationship is over? I think
Mm,
we assume because of fairy tales and movies that once you get with somebody, it's forever, and sometimes it's not. And that first one, could be a
boy.
little devastating, and we probably don't handle it as well as we would later on in our life. I'm interested. How did you handle?
Dog. I always say that this should. I always say that my. I'm not saying that I'm special or anything, but
Mhm,
just the way it went down, I feel like it would be I feel like it would be a funny movie,
mhm,
like a funny rom com to see how it went down. I met her at a union party. Actually, it was this is this is how predatory I was. I'm just
mhm,
gonna be not in a bad way. Hold on, calm down.
mhm, mhm,
So I had my own place, I had my own apartment across the street from campus, and what we like to do was they had freshman week a week before everybody else came in. So if you had your own place, majority of people would get back to school during freshman week
mhm,
because you had a week ahead of everybody else to go talk to all the new people that's coming in.
mhm,
Had a whole week before these people. So I'm like, bet we there. So we had the union party for the freshmen, and I walk up on this girl, and I'm trying to dance with her, and then, I do the walk up from behind, and I'm looking for the. I don't know if you remember this from my podcast. I was looking for the twirl of acceptance.
mhm, mhm,
So she turns around, sees me, and I don't know what song was playing, but she was like, all right. But she turned around to face me. She
mhm,
wasn't letting me get
mhm,
up on
mhm,
like that. I
mhm, mhm,
respected it.
mhm,
So we're just dancing and yeah, it's for about 10 minutes, couple songs. And then, while I'm dancing, you know how I had to go. You had to introduce yourself over the song.
right.
Hey,
Yeah,
where you from?
right.
What's your name?
Doing the running man, trying to have a
Listen,
conversation.
doing the wop, sitting there doing, doing the snake and all that junk. So like I got her name, where she was from. She was a freshman or whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. Got the number. So you had to play it cool. You're not supposed to call nobody
Mhm,
until at least a day or two
mhm,
when you get their number. So we outside, posted up, and then my boy taps me. He's like, yo, they used to call me G in school. Like, yo, G, isn't that the one you was dancing with? Boy,
mhm,
when I saw her in all her essence, because
mhm.
we're in a dark party, you can't see nothing.
Right, right, right.
When I seen her, dog.
Yeah, yeah.
Long story short, I called her when I got back to the
Had
apartment.
to. Had
On
to.
the on the phone for hours.
Mm,
Came by like day or two later, and we just hung out. Everything just clicked, and we were together for 2 years.
mhm,
2 years of bliss. But
mhm,
man,
mm,
there was this one fateful night.
mm,
There was one fateful night where I was looking for her, and I couldn't get her on the phone. And I was calling. It was late. It was about 12:30. Couldn't get her on the phone. And I think we at that time it was a rough patch too. So I'm in apologizing mode. I'm trying to get her on the phone to just let her know I'm sorry, like I messed up, all this and that. 1:30 comes, still can't get on the phone. 2:30 comes, still can't get on the phone. 3:30, 4:30, 5:30. I haven't slept, Patrick. I have not slept. I've been up all night calling this girl's extension, trying to get her on the phone. Did not get her on the phone the entire night. I'm losing it. I'm calling everybody she knows. I'm calling her mom. I'm calling this person. I'm calling that person. She calls me at about 9 something. What? That's what I got. What? It's like I've been looking for you all night. So I wasn't home. I was like, I'm coming on campus. I came on campus to talk to her. She didn't want to talk to me, dog.
mm, Mhm.
Oh man, I can't take it. Ah, too much at once.
I get it.
Man, she dumped me, bro.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and you know the wild part was she did dump me, and I always call that the official breakup because we did reconcile and try again after that. It
Mhm.
was never the same again.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say her name, so
Mhm.
but long story short, found out she spent the night with somebody else that night. So that's why I couldn't get her on the phone.
Mhm.
So when I tell you I was wrecked,
Mhm.
wrecked, and like even when we got back together, I always had that look like
Yeah.
I always had to remember that
Yeah.
that was there. So it was it was crushing, bro. It was crushing because I didn't, and in that instance, I would say I really didn't have no one to throw those emotions off of because like I told you, my schoolwork really wasn't that great during my run there. At that
Mhm.
point, at that point, all my close friends had already finished school.
They were gone already. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like there was like one or two people that was still around, but like all my good friends were like back home. And the funny story, like my best friend from school is from Chicago, where he passed away. Um,
Mhm.
Shout out to Andre Branch, and then my other buddy, Shannon Stewart, um, from Chicago. Um, but yeah, it was like when I told them what happened, they couldn't believe it because we were like that, like every
Mhm.
day together. Y'all going out, y'all go ahead and go out. We
Mhm.
here, we just. But
Mhm.
yeah, that thing messed me up. It wrecked me. It wrecked me bad.
It will. It does. But
Can I tell you something? Though? Let me tell you the funniest part.
mhm.
And this is why I love Martin so much. We we were watching an episode of, and I know the episode we were watching, bro. It was right around my birthday. It was one of the worst episodes of Martin possible. It was when Cole had his own apartment, and it was a really bad episode. I'll give you that. It was in the fifth season, but she moved out that night of that
Mhm.
joint. So every
Mhm.
time I see it now, I'm triggered. I know the exact episode. So when I see it come on now, I just see it on the TV like, nope, and I
Mhm.
just change the
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah. Since we're here, you and I have very different opinions, or we have different perspectives about Martin the sitcom.
Greatest black sitcom ever. Yes, continue.
Look, I think that we remember Martin. I think you remember Martin to be more funnier than it actually was.
No,
I think that the first season of Martin is great work.
yeah.
I don't think they had a better season than the first season. That's my number one perspective on that. The second season and everything leading up until then getting married was the best of Martin. Right
Okay.
after they got married, it went downhill, and that's two seasons. So I think they're married by the third season. They're
So let
forming
me say
five
this.
seasons.
Let me say this, and this is not Martin specific. And I'm
Mhm,
gonna ask you this question. I need you to answer me honestly. I know it's your
mhm.
show, but doesn't every sitcom fall off after that man woman chase ends? That chase part of every sitcom, Jamie Foxx, Martin, where that love interest is trying to get
It
with the
didn't happen on
princess.
a different world.
I don't know, man. And there, I can't use different one example because they depended on a lot of other supporting actors and then like serious themes and
Mhm.
because I'm gonna be honest with you, I hated that honeymoon episode when they came in talking about the riots. I was upset. I was like, I want to laugh. Y'all want to talk about?
I
I
get it,
was
but it got
mad.
back to funny. After
because
that,
of the younger kids though.
okay.
If Whitley and Dwayne were still the focus of the show, I don't think it would have been as good. Like the show was funny because Ron was messing with Ken and messing with Freddie, and Shazaa was there acting up. Like there was a lot of stuff going on outside of Whitley and Dwayne.
Mm-hmm.
But like when the chase ended for Martin and Gina, I get that part. I get that what you're saying, but there are still episodes and pockets where it's just some great TV. My favorite episode is in the 5th season.
And what's that?
It's called Snow White. It is so
When they was up at they went to the cabin.
Yes, it is hilarious. Hilarious. The hidden laughter. It's just stupid. Like there's a lot of it that you might not have caught on first watch, but I'm telling you, if you sit down and watch that, it is hilarious.
The most memorable episode after they got married was when they came back from the honeymoon, and he got all his clothes and watch took for somebody. He came back home and his drawers.
When he threw the shoe at her, he said, "But I bet my watch."
He was explaining to Gina what happened, and he was like,
The traumatizations.
I was like, yeah. And then we got on the mothership.
We got the mothership, baby Bubba.
That was funny.
Martin, Cole and what's his name walked out, and then Martin looking at the door. Got on the mothership, baby Bubba.
That was funny. Like that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Just the thought of it, man. God,
yeah,
man,
but it just wasn't as funny as I think you to call it the number one. Like that's, oof. That's this. You asking a lot from Martin and some of these episodes of old Sanford and Son scripts.
It did fall off, like especially when the whole thing went down. But it's a lot of funny stuff in there.
So coming out of Hampton, eventually you fall in love again.
Yeah.
Right. I'm always interested in our process of falling in love. Like, what did she say? What did you do? How did you know? Like, this is what you wanted and who you wanted to be in your life in this way. What was it about her? And what was it about you? Because I think you would have had to have changed since coming out your parents' house, since Hampton and all the like.
So when I got back here, I did some, I don't want to call it stupid. I got back with somebody that I was with when I was in high school out of comfort. Like I came back, I'm in a relationship for 2.5 years. I'm not even used to being alone. I'm not trying to be like I was in high school no more. You know, like when I got back from school, I got baptized. I was like, I'm living right.
Trying to want to be saved.
Listen, blessings on. I want the blessings to just fall on me from everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I was so focused on, all right, I need to be with one person, but it was just like when you just know something don't fit, and I was stuck like in between. Should I just date for dating's sake, or should I like go out here and like find someone to try to be with? So it was like an intentional decision going back and forth. Like I would try to date somebody seriously, that would go bad, and then I'm like, all right, bump it, doing me. Then there would be that internal conviction of like, yo, you can't really do you, and then I'll go back to finding my way back to be in a relationship, George, and then something bad would happen. I got another funny story for you. There was a girl that I met, came to a wedding that I was playing at,
Mm-hmm.
and she was a friend of my cousin. My cousin hooked it up, and I, when I tell you, I went all out because she was bad, bad,
Mm-hmm.
bad. And I'm like, I'm taking you out to dinner. We going to the mall for your birthday. Like there was a, like you see, you would have loved Rich George. Patrick, let me tell you something. Between between 21 and 27,
Mm-hmm.
money was not a thing. You hear me?
Money in the
Single,
thing.
single, working at a bank. I had a Mazda Millennia S,
Mm-hmm.
not no regular Mazda Millennia.
Yeah, the
Talking
ass.
about the one with the leather seats. When the
Yeah.
I was I was pushing the start and like way before these other niggas. All y'all niggas had keys. I was putting my foot on the brake and I was pushing the start, nigga. I was pushing the start early, boy. Telling me I had the spider leg rims
Yeah.
coming out the
Yeah.
bank with my shirt and tie on, and
Right. Right.
they had to fit my, I bought my dress pants. They had to finish my pants for me. I wasn't. No, you come measure this up. I wanted to be
Right.
right. I wanted to touch my
Right.
shoes
Right.
right. So
I get it.
I balled out and I did so much. Took her to my last time. No, sorry, no, that wasn't my last time. Took her to go see the Nets versus the Lakers. This is like Shaq and Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Bread, broke bread. Because I
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to rock with her, and she was a church girl.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, all right, she's a church girl, and when I tell you, I balled out on her, but I also put no pressure. No pressure. I was music soul child. I ain't trying to pressure you. Like I was no pressure for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, she ended up getting pregnant.
That's how they do you.
So that was one of those, you know what?
Mm.
Hello, streets.
Right.
Hello. I've missed you so much. Hello, streets.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
missed you, streets.
Yeah.
And I was back out there wilding, and it was just a whole lot of, I believe they call them now, situationships.
Mm-hmm.
It was a situation after situation.
Mm-hmm.
But then eventually I just got tired of that too, because like at the time I was working at the bank. So like I would now mind you, I'm in the busiest part of New Haven, working in well, what is now Bank of America, and I'm at the front. My desk is not one of the not the way they have banking now, where everybody's like standing behind the thing. Like I had a
Mm-hmm.
full desk and everything, and like I'm seeing everything as it comes in, like everything from Yale
Mm-hmm.
University, and like so. Um, I got a lot of dates just from being there,
Sure.
just from being in that spot.
Sure.
A brother in a suit and tie in the bank, and I'm not gonna, no disrespect to the tellers, but I'm not a teller. I'm like, and then I eventually become an assistant manager, like stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. I was doing well, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sitting here like, all right, I really need to like get out these streets again and like lock it down, and then I end up and it didn't go good
Mm-hmm.
because like I was dealing with a lot of people that like they wanted me around. I made them laugh. They enjoyed my company, but it was just that little thing that they didn't want, or maybe they were waiting on somebody else to get their situation
Mm-hmm.
together to go back to them, or
Mm-hmm.
there was always like that little twinge of doubt for them. Like I was to an unhealthy point where I was ready to just dive in and be with whatever, whoever,
Yeah.
just to say that I'm settled now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to just be with this person. So, luckily for me, I went to there was a church convention. We used to go to Jamaica every year, and to my grandfather's church for a church convention, and then stay at a hotel. Some of us would stay at his house. So I chose to stay at the hotel because balling.
Uh-huh.
And then the funniest part is that I was going to um I last minute I tried to cancel my reservation at the hotel. They said it was too long. They said it was too late for me to cancel the reservation. So I'm like, fine, I'll just stay at the hotel. Charmaine worked at the hotel.
Hmm.
That's where I met Charmaine.
Uh-huh.
So I go to check in at the hotel. There's like two or three of us staying at the hotel. And I walk up with a lady from my church. So Charmaine is actually the one, like she was the manager at the time, but she was also checking people in. So we're checking in and she's looking and she's like, okay, you guys together? I was like, no. I said that joke so hard, I was getting myself together. I'm like, yo, I was like, no, I'm not with her. No, like
Uh-huh.
she was like, excuse me. I was like, no disrespect. I'm just trying to let her know we got two different rules or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So I stalked Charmaine that whole week I was in Jamaica. Stalked her where she was, I was.
So the hotel, you're in Jamaica.
Yes, we're in
Okay.
the grill.
Okay.
We're in the grill.
Okay.
So pretty much, I'm stalking her, dog. Um, I'm every time she sees me, I'm licking my lips more. I'm licking my lips more than LL and
Yeah.
91, bro.
Right. Yeah. What's up?
Every time,
Yeah.
every
Right.
time,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, and then eventually, what was funny was the lady that checked in with me talked to her and was like, "Yo, he really likes you." That's it. And then Charmaine kind of knew that I really liked her. And then there was one night, finally got her to hang out. She hung out after work, and like it was it's in the grill, so all the hotels are on the beach. So we went to, and like we just go down the beach, different hotels, and there was a concert at one of the other beaches. So we just took a walk to one of the beaches, sat down in there, and we just talked one night, and everything like kind of clicked. Funny story that almost messed up the whole thing. My mom's my mom's is kind of rowdy. We were having lunch like after we had that date, and like all the kids and the people from church is there,
Uh-huh.
and we're having lunch. And when you're exchanging money in Jamaica, there's certain spots that'll give you a little bit more for your buck.
Uh-huh.
If you do it at the hotel, you'll get the least value for your
Uh-huh.
dollar there. So she was trying to pay for something with American money, and they weren't giving her the rate that they got on the street or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, "I need to speak to the manager. You guys is trying to rip us off." No, I was just like, "Yo, chill out."
No, no,
She just,
no.
and then Charmaine looks to me. She was like, "Yo, that lady will never be. That lady could never be my mother-in-law." I was like,
Uh-uh. Uh, uh,
"Oh, you kidding me?" So we, long story short, we we're leaving, going back to the States or whatever. So when the church, the van to take everybody to the airport pulls up, I'm talking to Charmaine and they see me give her like this really long hug. And then a call back, one of my uncles that I was telling you about was on the trip.
uh,
So I get on a bus, his eyes like wild. So and he said it in his best Jamaican accent, and I'll translate. He was like, "Yo, how your lyrics that?" So long story short, how'd you do that? How'd you pull that
uh-huh.
off? So I got back home, and this is like This is the calling card era. This is
Mm-hmm.
the long distance era,
Mm-hmm.
bro.
Ran up some
And,
charges, huh?
mm, and we was on the phone for hours, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Hours upon hours. Calling cards. I used to have to go to Sam's Club to go get the special calling card that you can put the money on. And we just
Mm-hmm.
kept on talking and talking. And I just one day we had a conversation. I'm like, listen, this is expensive. So what I'm about to tell you is if you don't see us going in a serious direction, I don't think we should, continue. Like, what you think? And she's like, yeah, I can see myself doing this. And that was like July, August.
He was off
And
to the
then
races.
yeah, and that was July, August, and I flew back down in November with the ring.
Had she ever been to the States before?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
She had family up here,
Mm-hmm.
but she had never been to the States previously. No,
Mm-hmm.
no. So that was also an internal struggle within my family because there's a lot of people in my church thought that she just married me for her paper.
Yeah.
To get to
Get
there.
our papers. Come over
Yeah,
here. Yeah.
right,
Right. Right.
right. Because when I tell you, I definitely I'll kick my coverage with this one. But I've always been a shot shooter, yo.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been afraid of no.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been afraid of no. If you're there, if you're around me, like I remember, not to get too well, no. Like I saw Faith Evans. Faith Evans is outside of Hampton Coliseum one night. I just went up to Faith and started talking to her,
Mm-hmm.
and she didn't like to be interrupted because she was, you know. But like
She was minding her business. She
right.
was
She was like, listen, hey, listen, it's more common occurrence now, but
right. Right.
give it to
Right.
me. But
Right.
it was just like I was never afraid to know. So I would like if I saw somebody that I wanted to talk to, I don't care how pretty they was. I don't care who they
Mm-hmm.
was with. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna try to meet you, and then even if it don't go my way, I'm just gonna be like, all right, cool. What you gonna tell me? No, all right, bet
Mm-hmm.
later. So I've never been afraid to know. So that's why I just moved the way I moved when it came to that way.
And that was 18 years ago?
Yeah, man, that was 19.
19 years ago, two kids later.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you go because we've been
Yeah,
doing this.
I was far spent.
I know we keep talking. But 18 years, 19 years ago, two kids. How has this experience of love between you and Charmaine, you and your kids, how has it changed you?
I'm. It's given me my own. So being in the fact that it's giving me my own, and I feel loved. So like now, where times are not as affluent as they was
Mhm.
when I was Rich George, to now
Mhm.
where it's like a little different, a little tougher, a little tighter. I still feel fine because I have her, I have them, you know, like my daughter, she's like so sweet to me. And then we might butt heads or whatever, but like she's the sweetest. She's the
Mhm.
sweetest. She girl was hungry, got herself lunch. She was like, Dad, I got you some California rolls. Like just stuff like that. Like it's
Mhm.
just I will say that family, I was because of my family situation, initially, I tried to make sure that love was presented more and said more with my own
Mhm.
family. So, because like my mom, she's a tough person, but you could never get me to doubt that that woman loves me.
Sure.
That woman loves me,
Yeah.
and I would say that there's a lot of people that might have it being said via words, but it is like completely felt and nurtured, and I know without a shadow of a doubt, that woman loves me. So
Mm,
if there's anything out of everything that I do lack, I can't say I lack love, because
mm,
love is ever present in my life in
mhm,
every which way and form. So that's why I feel like I'm always in I'm always in like a good mood. Like the only thing that could really tick me off is the Lakers and the Cowboys. Like,
mhm.
and they
Well,
get
you're in
me.
a bad place right now, then.
They get me. Yeah, they
Yeah,
get me.
yeah.
So I mean, I'm really blessed to have the children I have, the wife that I have, the family I have. They're really great people, and I'm getting comfortable with understanding who they are and what they're
Mhm,
gonna give me. You know what I
mhm,
mean? So
mhm.
if there's anything I'm missing out on from them, I'm fine. You know what I mean? It's like you try to just be content, because everybody might be, dealing with different stuff physically, mentally, whatever. So you don't
Yeah.
want to just go too crazy on nobody. But yeah, man, I definitely feel love. If anything, I definitely feel love.
And I think that's important, especially as men. I think one of the things that we have to learn is to hear other people's love language.
Hmm.
Um, and your mother loves very specifically. It's love.
Yep.
It's not this, but it is this,
Yep.
right? And
Hmm.
if we don't become fluent in somebody else's love language, then we are missing the love that they're communicating to us
Right.
because we're only hearing it in how we need to hear it or want to hear it.
Exactly.
But I'm learning this because Howard's making me take a language, and it's challenging. But one of the ways I'm understanding it is language gives us another way to look at life. Like it's another way to experience life when we take
Hmm.
on another language and when we learn somebody else's love language, right?
Yeah.
And the language between you and your mom is different from you and Charmaine,
Hmm.
different from you to your daughter, to your son, to your friends, right? All of
Yep.
those are love languages. And I think we are made better when we become fluent in different languages of love. Um, and I think our lives become full. And I'm glad that you have that.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you have that for you. I think that's awesome. I'm gonna let you go. Before I
Okay.
let you go, I'll always
Okay.
do a quick five
Okay.
before I let you go, and then I'll let you.
Kobe, Shaq, Magic, MJ, and LeBron is my number one. That's what you're talking about?
Your number one, what?
You said top five, so I thought you was talking about NBA play. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yes, yes, sure. I'm sorry. I should.
You put Shaq in your top five?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I just named off five
Yeah,
NBA players as quick as I could.
this is why. This is why I can't.
I
I
just had to
can't.
name off five real quick.
Okay. All
My
right.
fault. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, first question.
All right.
Do you believe in love at first sight?
Hmm. Nah. Kind
No,
of.
kind of.
Kind of. Kind of.
More on
Kind
the
of.
no side than yes side.
More on the no side, because
Mhm.
people be tripping.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Second question. What has love taught you?
Oof. Love has taught me um love has taught me patience
Mm,
on both sides. Some
mhm,
people will be able, so a lot of people bear with you because they love you. And I'm experiencing, I can say I'm living within that right now.
mhm,
And I'm like really appreciative of those that have been patient and loved me through, regardless of where I am, where I was, where I was and where I am now. Yeah.
Okay. What do you believe about love now that you didn't then?
That you love through bad situations.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a big proponent of I'm a big proponent of God called me to love you. He didn't call me to like you. So there might be situations where you do A, B, and C. Nah, I don't like you. I don't like you no more. But I still do love you. But nah, I don't like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
and like even and for peace sake, I might not say it,
Mm-hmm.
or for the sake of sanity, I might not say it. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm always love you. But
Mm-hmm.
liking, nah, probably it's gonna take something for me to start liking you again. But I love
Gotcha.
you. Though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gotcha. Next question. What makes a good lover?
boy. Oh man. Shoot. Victoria's Secret gift card, um, Bath and Body Works, um, Amazon Prime membership,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
your own Netflix, where you are the main profile.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Anything else?
listen, I think I've done enough. I don't want to say the jokes I have right now.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I'm a stop.
Right.
Oh, but
Last
get
question.
that Victor
Last
Secret gift
question.
card. Get that gift
Um,
certificate. Goodness gracious.
what brings you joy?
Ah, my family, music, sports, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think actually I'll take sports. I'll take sports out of that. You know why?
Mm.
I've always hated when I get back to church. I've always hated when people in church be like, if you were at the Super Bowl and your team scored a touchdown, you'd be in here making noise. So praise God right now.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then I stood back and was like, but if they threw an interception,
Right.
I'd be pissed. So
Right. So
don't
it
do
could go either
don't,
way.
don't use that
Yeah.
analogy.
Yeah. It could
So
go either way.
yeah, I would say I'm gonna redo that order. I would say my family, definitely my friends, because I mean, I appreciate every friend that I have in a big way because it's a choice to say I'm going to speak. Like I don't have to. This is not something that we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if we were, working together or doing something like that, I take that very seriously. Like when I was still working 9 to 5s and stuff like that, and they used to get me to, they wanted to get me to, oh, come have a drink and come here and come there. I'd be like, y'all not my friends. I just work here.
Right.
I don't know y'all. Like I got real friends out of here. Like I'm trying
Right.
to go. So like that's why I kind of take pleasure in bringing people together.
Mm-hmm.
I've been told on 2 occasions, 2 or 3 occasions, that it's kind of my ministry, bringing people together.
Mm-hmm.
And Doobie Powell was the first person that told me, and I thought he was joking, but then Talisa recently said it to me a couple months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like that's years apart.
Mm-hmm.
So when she told me, like same thing Doobie told me, and I was like, wow, maybe this is a thing for me.
No, no, no. I think that's very true. And I'll let you go, but
Mhm.
I know Gerard is the kind of uh, way we met.
Yeah,
Um, and then since I met you, you've introduced me to all these other cool people who
yeah,
now either I've been in friendships with or establishing friendships with,
Mhm.
and it's been a joy. So I would definitely say, one of your gifts is to bring people together and kind of create a space where everybody can just be themselves and we can
Mhm.
find some commonality. And for an introverted person like myself who does not get out the house much,
Mhm.
um, like right now, there's nothing that draws me to go outside and hang out.
Boy, man,
There's
come
just
on.
nothing in me. I don't have to do it. So being on the remix forced me to engage and meet new people, and then
Right.
your podcast forces me to meet new people, and it has been an absolute pleasure. I thank you for that. I thank you for being my friend.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for all the ways that even offline and stuff, we've connected, and you've helped me out more than a few times, and I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
love you very much, brother,
Love you
and
too, man.
you know, it is what it is,
Yeah, man.
and so
Y'all don't know, like, he randomly reaches out to P. He's randomly reached out to me when I've been having like days, like, and he just like, "Hey, you good?" I'm like, "Wait a minute, how did he just out of nowhere, like, awesome, hey, you good?" And it's like perfect timing. So, I mean, I appreciate you, bro. Like, I've always wondered because there was a time period where I'd never had any friends that were near my age. Like, I will
Mhm.
always like separate myself from people that was like close to my age. But like after like rocking with you guys on the remix and like everybody's just cool and like I said previously, like I call you the 8 out of 10 friend. Like if there's 10 things, if there's 10 things, me and Patrick will agree on 8 of them
Yeah,
100%.
right.
But 9 and
Yeah,
10,
yeah. We'll go to war about.
still can't believe y'all did on bended knee like that. I just end the show, Patrick. I don't want to talk about it. End it.
You like that record more than Boys and Men like that record.
End the
So
show.
okay, I don't know.
End the show.
I mean, it's okay.
Stop doing it. It's the
It's
it's
okay.
that
It's
swung
not
on
even better. It's
two.
not even better than Khalil on that record. I would rather listen to Khalil than listen to Bend the Knee. Shout
Broke my
out to
last.
Khalil, but yeah, Khalil is a better record, and all I got is a hook out of that, and it's better than Bend the Knee. But look, man, we don't have to do this. It's fine.
On
It's
bended
all
knee is
good.
the greatest ballad on two. I,
Okay. Well, you went to Hampton, so of course,
hey,
yeah, there it is. So, thank you all for rocking with us. Thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate it. We'll be back for another episode on next week, and you all be safe. Take care of yourself, and thank you for hanging out. All right, till next time. Peace
peace.
out.